Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, it's better.
I think I'm pretty sure it's your mic. Every time you say mine's breaking up, like I can hear yours breaking up too. I've disconnected and reconnected my mic. Just do the same for yours.
Oh, you think it's just a mic? Really? So you mean like off my controller? That's it? Or what do you mean?
Yeah. So is your mic connected to your controller? Just pull
Mm-hmm.
it out and push it back in.
Oh, really? Is that a thing? Okay, let me see. I mean, it's working fine right now, but if it happens again, then.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you look at your messages on the bottom right, I message you to just disconnect and
Mm-hmm.
reconnect both your mic and your controller. That fixes the
Oh.
problem.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I did that too to confirm it's not mine. I did the process of elimination for whose mic it is. I eliminated mine as the cause, so now you just need to do the same for yours, and we
Mm.
can confirm. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's one of ours. I don't think it's mine. Um,
Okay.
what were we talking about? We were talking about
C
map awareness, I think.
you're asking if when I look at the screen does if my eye goes from somewhere to somewhere. That's top
Yeah,
from.
yeah,
I
tunnel
didn't hear it
visioning.
though.
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you.
yeah. So, do you feel that you tunnel vision on certain areas?
What do you mean? Can you like if I'm in a
Tunnel,
fight
yeah,
or?
just in general. So when you're running from point A to point B, when you're doing something, are your eyes actively scanning your entire screen, or are you just looking at what's ahead of you?
Mm,
This is
I,
all
I,
stuff that I'll be able to figure out when I watch you play, but it's good for you to have an idea.
okay, I do both. There was a time where, like when I just started, I was not looking in front of me and just like looking all over the place and not at nothing. And then there was a time I was looking only in front of me. And so I think right now I'm like looking in front and then looking on the edges. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll definitely see what you're doing when I spectate you.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of area awareness. Now,
Mhm.
in terms of decision making, what goes through your head when you approach a situation? Like, how do you approach a situation?
Um, like, what's the scenario? Like, I'm trying to.
So, so you,
Mm.
yeah, so you see a team in a building and you want to push it. Like, why do you want to push it and how do you push it?
Okay, so like if I'm in Rebirth, right now, and I see a team in a building and I want to push, a couple things are going to be in my mind. If I'm if I'm with a team that that's like that don't have comms or anything, and I want to push because I want to engage, first thing that I'm gonna know is okay, I'm probably gonna die here, um, because I don't have any support. And one of the things I look at would be like the numbers, like how many of them, and then I look at my numbers, like what kind of ammo do I have, how many, um, what kind of shots I'm gonna have to take if I want to take my entire team. Most of the time, I can only do one, and then I get gunned down by another team, one of their teammates. But from time to time, I get maybe two of them. You know, if I get them off guard. Um, while I'm approaching the building, I'm gonna be looking at some of the points because I don't want to be approaching and then they're fucking looking right at me. So I'm gonna look at the spots that they they might be looking at me from, like like the ones that are well, I can't look at all. I'm just probably gonna look at the most obvious ones. Um, and then, like once I'm there and I start hearing noises, I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this is like I don't even know what to do." Like once I start hearing footsteps, they're like, "Oh shit, the one's at the bottom, one's at the top." And at that point, uh, I'm like, I don't. Uh, at that point, somebody's just gonna find me, and I'm not gonna find them first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually,
Okay.
when it gets to that point, it's like, oh fuck. Once I'm confused about the sound, it's like I don't I wouldn't say I freeze, but it's more like, well, I'm just gonna run and see what I can find,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So, yeah, that's all. What you said is all good, although it's all branched out into different sort of areas. It's not like specifically structured.
Mhm.
Every individual thing that you said is relevant. Now, I think it's best if you take everything that you just said and put it into a structure. So, with decision making, the first thing that you need to consider, based on everything that you said, let's put it into a structure. The first thing you need to consider is information with decision making. You can't make decisions without information. So you need some sort of information as to where your targets are. So you need to figure out where they are. In a building is enough. So you know they're in a building. You don't know where in the building, but we'll get to that. You know they're in the building. You decide you want to push it. Now, I want you to start thinking about decision making in terms of your percentage chance of winning. We're going to break this down
Mhm.
from 0 to 100%. So what is the chance that you win this fight from 0 to 100%? If at that moment that you get information that you see there's someone in the building, first thing you need to do is consider the worst case scenario. You're in, let's say you're playing solo rebirth trios. Now, it's going to be three people in that building. Worst case scenario, there's three of them. There's one of you. So at that moment that you get information, you need to make a decision. Now, how you make this decision is based on the following factors. First one, information. You know they're in a building. Second one, numbers. There's one of you, three of them. You have a huge disadvantage here. If we were to compute this, there's one of you, three of them, four people in total. You have a 25% chance, only 25% chance that you win this 1v3 because 1 divided by 4 is 25%. So in terms of numbers, you have a 25% chance of winning. In terms of information, you know they're in a building. But, as you approach the building, they're probably going to hear you, they're probably going to see you. So they have the same sort of information on you as you do on them. So in terms of information, I'd say you're 50-50 with these guys in the building. Maybe even at a slight advantage if you play this correctly, which we'll talk about. You're at a big disadvantage in terms of numbers. You mentioned utilities, so you mentioned your guns and your ammo and everything. So utilities are what kind of guns you have, your lethals, your tacticals, your armor plates and your ammunition. Let's say you have ground loot guns and full plates and full ammo. Let's say they too have ground loot guns, full plates, full ammo. So you're at a 50% chance you win in terms of utilities because you guys have the same stuff. So, so far, 50% information, 25% numbers, 50% utilities. It's looking like odds are against you right now. Um, Before I continue, after this session and the next session, I'll send you a document which will recap everything that I talked to you about, so you don't have
Okay.
to make notes or try to
Nice.
memorize it all. It'll be in the document. But yeah, information, numbers, utility so far, it's looking like odds are against you. Next thing you need to consider is tangible advantages. So tangible advantages meaning things that you can physically touch, stop and power, loadout, dead silence, UAV. What these tangible advantages are going to do is they're going to give you boosts to your information and your utilities. So dead silence and UAV give you information boosts. UAV gives you precise information, accurate information. Dead silence takes away information from them, so they can't get info on you. Utility-wise, stopping power gives you, stronger ammunition. Utilities gives you better guns, lethal tacticals. You don't have any of these. For the sake of this example, you have none of these four tangible advantages. They could very well have tangible advantages. You don't know for sure what they have. So at best, in terms of tangible advantages, you have a 50% chance of winning this encounter. Then finally, moving on to intangible advantages. So confidence, aim, movement, map knowledge, and positioning. The five intangible advantages. Whether you have confidence or not, completely up to you. Whether you know the map well enough, again, completely up to you based on experience. Aim and movement, we're going to talk about, and positioning. So if all else fails, if you don't have info, if you don't have an advantage in terms of info or numbers or utilities or tangibles, you can rely on the intangible advantages to give you a higher chance of winning the fight. But let's say in terms of intangible advantages, so in terms of confidence, aim, movement, positioning, and map knowledge, you're at an equal level as these guys in the building, 50-50. Break every factor down. Your chance of winning this encounter is less than 50%. Therefore, you shouldn't be looking to push. Therefore, you should be looking to disengage until you get an advantage, or just disengage, just ignore them. Go about your own business.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It was a lot of information, but I was just thinking about
So it's basically what you were saying, but just
mhm,
in a structured way that I want you to start thinking about
mhm,
when you get information. So at that point in time, when you get information, I want you to think probabilities, percentage. I want you to think structured way, just like information. Don't just improvise your decisions. Don't be like, should I push? Should I not push? Is my team going to help me? How do I approach this? Think just probability. Straight up, you get info. Do I win this or not? Yes or no?
okay, it's just numbers mostly, right? It's a numbers game, right?
Pretty much. It's a
Yeah,
probability game, yeah.
yeah. So that's for my decision making. That's I would say that's why I just look at it like a numbers. Decision making is just numbers. So I think yeah, from what it sounds like, I'll just be running away a lot. I feel
You
like
will
I
be. Yes, so
yeah.
yeah, you will be. You will get advantages though. So you will find dead silence, you'll find UAV, you will become better with your aim and your movement. Once I teach you, you'll be better with your positioning. It's up to you how much time you decide to invest into getting map knowledge. I'll teach you how to do it, but you need to put in the hours.
Mhm.
Confidence will come with your improvement in your aim, your movement, and your positioning. So ideally, you have all those intangible advantages working in your favor. And overall, you have a 60 odd percent chance of winning the fight, assuming you do everything correctly. You know, this 1v3. So you have a disadvantage in numbers, your equal level utilities, equal level information. You have no tangibles, but you have every intangible. And that's what you use to win this 1v3 push.
Okay.
But right now you don't have them, which is to be expected. I mean,
Mhm.
you know,
S-
that's why we're here.
So you're saying um whenever if you decide to commit to something, you know why you're committing, right? It's I'm betting
Yes,
on
so you
this.
only, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you can look at it as a bet. You're betting on yourself to win the fight. So in that moment that you get information, you absolutely have to commit to pushing them via positioning or full sending, or you need to commit to getting away from them. If you stay in the same place, they have information on you, or they get information on you, and they make a decision before you do, and they make a decision to push you. They're going to push you before you can run away, before you can position, before you can do anything. You're going to be left getting pushed, and you never want to be in that situation.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, commitment to your decision making is really important, and doing so immediately, or as close to immediately as you possibly can.
Mhm. Mhm. I think I'm good with like committing. I used to have maybe that issue, but now I don't.
Okay,
I'm gonna do this. I'm
cool.
not gonna do this. But yeah, it sounds like I'm gonna be committing to running away a lot. But yeah, well, yeah,
Will be.
yeah.
So, in BR, once we get into BR, what I'm going to have you do.
Mhm.
Well, actually, before I continue that, yeah, committing to running away, I would much rather see someone run away for 30 minutes straight and get 0 kills than see someone do stupid stuff or not make decisions at all. I
Mhm.
award the guy who runs away from every situation for 30 minutes straight because he is committing to his disadvantage. He knows he's at a disadvantage. He knows he doesn't have aim or movement or confidence or map knowledge or positioning. He knows he doesn't have tangibles. He realizes this. He realizes that his probability is less than 50%, and he plays accordingly, and he makes it to the end game. So good for him. Not good for the guy who made the wrong decision because he didn't take into consideration his disadvantages.
What about like so I think when we just started the chat I was telling you I'm not so much concerned about winning. Like I am a little bit but not so much mostly because I'm trying to get more kills, right? And then
Yeah, I know.
what
That's
like
what we're gonna go for.
okay, and then like so with the like some people on some of the streamers they say just try to get in as much gunfights as you can. I mean, but they don't. I mean,
That's yeah.
they're
That
oversimplifying it,
that
right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you're missing some stuff. So these
Mhm.
streamers, they have confidence, they have aim, they have movement, they have positioning, they have map knowledge. They have every intangible advantages,
Mhm.
so they can get into any gunfight they want. Me, I
Mhm.
can get into any gunfight I want. I still don't though. So
Mhm.
I still nitpick my gunfights.
Mhm.
That's why I have a 10 KD. You can't have a 10 KD by just going into every gunfight.
Right.
I'm going
Right.
to teach you how to pick your gunfights. You can't just get into every gunfight. You are not at that level to do so in terms of mechanics.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, just to put it straight to you, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
If you could, you would get 30 plus kills every game. Um, so you want to aim for like something more reasonable. You want to aim for like consistency. So like at least 6 kills, 7 kills a game. But you want to make sure that you get that every game. If you put that into perspective, a 6 kill game is a 3 KD. 6 divided by 2. 2 deaths. You die once and then you die twice. Your game's over. So you want to aim for consistency. You want to also aim for high kills. So if the opportunity presents itself, you want to take it. So if you have advantages over everybody, you want to commit to those advantages. There are going to be games where you have a lot of money, you have UAVs, there's red dots, you have advantage, you push them, you kill them, you get dead silence, you push the next guy, you just go kill to kill to kill to kill because you have advantage, advantage, advantage. There are going to be games like that. There are going to be slower games as well where you have to think a lot more about who you're pushing because you don't have these advantages. But if
Mhm.
you don't think about this, then you're going to end up pushing a team whom you actually have a disadvantage over. You die, you're going to be like, oh, how did I die? You know, last game I killed every team, but then this game I died. Well, the reason you died this game is because you didn't actually have an advantage over this team, whereas the last game you had advantages over every team. So, that's why you need to think about percentages, probabilities.
Mhm. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, definitely, we're going to go for high kills, but it's going to be a work in progress. Like, you're going to have to practice what I teach you in your own time to
Mhm.
get those intangible advantages, namely aim, movement, and positioning.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah. That's those are the things I think that are gonna help with that. And apart from like the sound and stuff,
Yeah, that's part of information.
Mhm. Yeah, I think maybe that's the biggest thing. I think my decision making might be a little bit um well, I don't know if the decision making is hard for everybody, right? But I think that I'm not so bad at my decision making because I'm mostly a thinking person, not like I go with my feel. So I'm kind of
Uh-huh.
analytical. So I have
Yeah.
some confidence with that, but not with the mechanics and the aim.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
well,
Well,
so
yeah,
we'll
the
see.
reason I struck,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I structured it based on what you said. You said everything that I told you to do. It's just that what you said is improvisation. So you're going into a situation, then you're improvising all this stuff. You need to, when you get information, you need to plan ahead exactly how you're going to approach a situation,
Right.
and you need to do so based on probability, and you need to do so in that structured way.
Mhm.
Information first, numbers second, utilities third, tangibles, intangibles.
Okay.
All that considered, you make a decision in that very 1 or 2 second moment. You make a decision to push or run away. Then, based on this decision you make, you need to plan exactly how you're going to do it. So, if you make the decision to push them, to full send them, let's say you have loadout dead silence UAV and there's a team with ground loot in a building. You decide in this moment that you have loadout because you're the first one to get loadout. You know that nobody else has bought loadout yet in this area, so you know they have ground loot. You know you have at the very least that utility advantage. You know you also have UAV daddy, so you're going to have a complete information advantage. So it's looking like you have 100% information advantage, numbers disadvantage because it's solo duos or solo trios or whatever. Utility advantage because you have loadout, they have ground loot. So realize you're at an advantage, you realize your chance of winning is looking like 70% at the very least. Now you make a plan. How are you going to push this? Your plan needs to incorporate how you enter this building, what information you have, what information they have. If you don't have completely accurate information, how you're going to go about collecting that information in a structured way. You need to think about what they're doing, We're going to talk about this later when we talk about positioning, but you need to think about what they're doing, why they're doing it, whether they're going to stay in this building, whether they're going to move, what kind of information they have on you, whether they know you're coming, what the implications of this fight is going to be. So as soon as you kill them, are you going to be third partied? Are there other teams around you? So there's a lot of stuff that you need to consider, which we will, go over during our sessions. But
Okay.
what you said in terms of decision making was just complete improvisation. You go there and then you think about all this stuff. No, you can't do that. You need to think before you go there. I need to do so again in that structured way.
I I have a question about that. Like, so what if like once you get like, all right, so I think I don't have that what you said like the plan, but sometimes I don't have the plan because once you get there, all the information gets updated. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm in a bad
Uh huh.
position, you know. So that's why I kind of
Yeah.
like abandon plans a little bit. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
Your plan needs to incorporate the whether or not you have accurate information. So if you have accurate information, you have a UAV up, you shouldn't get there and be like, where are they? You have accurate information. Just look at your mini
Mm,
map, figure out where they are. It's not much more to it than that. But if you don't have accurate information, don't have a UAV, you get there, you just know that they're in the building somewhere. Your plan needs to be how you're going to get accurate information when you get there.
hmm.
So you need to first be making some assumptions based on evidence. So you need to assume where they are based
Mhm.
on what you have gathered. So you might have some prior knowledge that perhaps they're on the top floor. So maybe you should enter from the top floor to negate their positional advantage. Again, we're going to talk about this later. But if they're on the top floor, they have that high ground advantage over you. So you don't want to go from the bottom floor because they're going to be looking down. Your chance of winning has decreased because now they have positioning on you. So perhaps if you know that they're on top, you go from top two, negate their positioning because now you're on equal level. But if you have some sort of prior knowledge, that does help you with getting accurate information. But let's say you don't have prior knowledge. You just know that they're in the building. You don't know where in the building. So your plan needs to be, okay, I'm going to get there. I'm going to check where I think they're going to be. Do so via a process of elimination. I'm also going to do information pairing. So I know they're in this building. So I'm going to listen out for doors opening. I'm going to listen out for supply boxes. I'm going to know where the doors are. I'm going to know where the supply boxes are. Um, you're gonna think about the stuff when you approach the building. So
Okay.
make sure that once you're in the building, that you've already considered how you're gonna get accurate information, so that when you're there and you hear these things or you see these things, you've already thought about what they're gonna mean, and then you're gonna know exactly where they are, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, because I can it's it what based on what you're saying is like you're basically kind of priming yourself so that when you get in there you don't freeze, right? And you can keep
Pretty much, because yeah,
mm,
once you're there, you're there. You can't freeze.
yeah,
You're there to kill.
right.
There is no room for hesitation. The room for hesitation was before you made that decision. So, once you've committed to that play, you can't like just walk around. You're there
Mhm.
to absolutely full send them or get positioning on them. Um, the more time that you spend walking around or freezing up is time that you're giving them to get information on you, to get accurate information on you, and to make a decision to push you or run away. And you don't want that. You don't want them making decisions. You want to be the one making decisions, and you want to do it before they do it. You want to put them at on defense. You want to catch them by surprise. Um, you don't want them to be prepared. But yeah, don't want to
The
freeze up.
yeah, that's have you ever heard about the OODA loop? Do you not know what
No,
that is? No?
I don't know what that is. No.
So that's like I think they developed this uh I think he was I don't know if it was World War II or something for like the fighter jets. But it's basically this it's like observation, orientation, decision making, and then action, right? It's like a military thing. And they say what you want to
Right.
try to do is make sure that you disrupt the enemy's Uralu, which is basically make sure that they're you're deciding before them, which means that they're gonna always be kind of like behind you. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be
Yep.
one step ahead of their loop. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see how that like how to do that. You know what I mean? Because I that's
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
I,
that's
I
really important.
I'm excited. I think, but mostly because like I'm excited to learn things that I and just to experience the game in a different way. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean that's about it in terms of what I want you to do for
mm,
decision making. So think about probabilities, commit to your decision, and do your best to create a plan before you gauge the situation. Now, you're not always going to have this much time. Especially creating a plan, it's going to take some time right now because you're so new to it.
mhm.
But when you get better at it, when you get more natural, it'll come quicker. So in the moment, for example, when I hear something, I'm either planning in that moment or as I'm approaching the situation, I'm planning how I'm going to do it.
Shit. Okay, that's
But I never
immediately.
just
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean it just comes, like I hear someone, I already know what advantages I have. I already know, like I've already thought about any possible situation I can find myself in. I know what's going to happen if I get rushed by a team with loadout, dead silence, stopping power, advanced UAV. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do if I get sent by a truck or a car. Like I've thought about every possible outcome of what can happen to me in that moment. I'm thinking about worst case scenarios 24/7. I'm thinking that someone's always looking at me. I'm thinking at any moment I'm going to run into a team. What am I going to do? So I've already sort of created some plans in my head about what I'm going to do. And in some moments I just have to execute them. But then there are times when I'm faced with situations that I haven't considered because they've just surprised me or new information has come to light and I need to
Mhm.
make a plan accordingly. I sometimes either do it in that moment, sometimes I take a second or two, sometimes I do it on the fly. But the point is, no matter how long it takes, you need to make a plan. Otherwise, it's going to be left for improvisation. And when it is left for improvisation, your chance of winning the fight is decreasing in terms of percentage. You want as high a percentage chance of winning as possible, as close to 100% as possible. Anything you do to anything you do differently to what I've taught you will just decrease that 100% chance. Slowly decrease, decrease, decrease.
Okay, so
That
you.
that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So you're saying like for you, you're like is that like the main activity that you're doing in your mind while you're moving around, like planning, information planning, or what I would call that
So
like you
what
you.
yeah, what goes through my
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good question. What goes through my head is first of all information. So I'm looking for information 24/7. I'm looking for evidence. I'm looking for anything I see. And then I'm looking at contracts, I'm looking at buys, I'm looking at red dots, I'm looking at doors, whatever, anything. I'm piecing together what's happened in this area or what's happening currently or what's going to happen. I'm thinking about all these possibilities. I'm thinking about, at all times, I'm aware of what I have available to me, advantage or disadvantage. And I'm thinking about where I can go if I need to escape, how I can push if there's a team in the building. Um, you're always thinking about what's happening around you, what's happening further away from you, not only in your own perspective, but also in the perspective of other people. So you can't just be thinking in your own shoes, you need to be thinking in other people's shoes too. So what information they have on you, what decisions they're going to make. Are they going to push me? If they pop a UAV and I'm not ghosted, am I going to get pushed? Am I in the place where I can be pushed? Am I out in the open? Do I have cover? A lot of
Oh,
stuff. We'll
that's
probably
a
talk about some more stuff later.
that's a lot of stuff, but I mean, it sounds fun. Like yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot to it. Obviously that's me though. That's you don't need to think to that level of detail. But the more you think, the better you're going to be. Because this
No,
thinking game, as much as it is mechanics.
no, I like that actually. Like I kind of want to know all the things that you're thinking about because I'm just really interested in improving it at all costs. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I just I like pushing myself. Uh, yeah, especially like well, so I read a lot, right? And
Yeah.
so like new information to me is just exciting. I don't get fatigue or anything from it. I just like whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, cool.
So I'm
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's awesome. So you did mention Iron a while ago. So I guess you've watched some of his gameplay.
yeah, it's kind of boring. I mean, the most recent thing I
It's
watched
boring.
was
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Sorry, you were saying? Most recent thing?
The most recent clip I saw was this guy scumming when he came up the ladder. Did you see that clip? Him and Iron?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, scumming just fried him up. Like, yeah, I mean, Iron had a claymore. I think they were playing a customs tournament, and
Ah, I see.
and then Scumming just
Yeah.
came up the ladder, jumped out, turned around,
Yeah.
and just killed him.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly how
it's
I would kill him too. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
That's the way to go. So movement and confidence are
Mhm.
the two biggest keys to close range gunfights. Iron doesn't have either of those.
Right, he
He
doesn't.
has no confidence with close range fights. He has no movement either. His movement
Mhm.
is zero. His confidence for close range is zero. So he's 100% losing that fight against a player like, like Scummin, who's aggressive, high kills, not as much thinking as Iron, but he full sends those close
Mhm.
range fights. And he has a lot of experience with doing so. Iron relies primarily on thinking and positioning to get him
Mhm.
kills. To get him, not kills, but wins.
Right. I
So
I was
the
gonna
way I,
say.
yeah,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
go
No,
on.
no, no. Go ahead. You were talking. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
Go
you
ahead.
go.
I thought you were finished. That's fine. But keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So the way I play is a mix of the two. I
Mhm.
I like to think, not like Iron, because that's boring, but I like to think like him, somewhat. But I like to play aggressive as well. But I like to cherry pick my fights.
Mhm.
So I don't like to full send everything because I think that's brainless and stupid, and you're just
Mhm.
relying on RNG. And I don't like to just sit in one place the entire time because there are definitely kills that I can easily get. So I play somewhere in between. I look to average around 14 kills a game, one death, perhaps two deaths at the very max. But yeah, somewhere in between the two, I go for consistency. Yes, I also go for 20, 30 kill games if the opportunities present themselves, but I'm not going out of my way to do that if I don't
Mhm.
have to.
Gotcha. Okay, I like that. I think I might be in the same place. Like, I'm what? How do I say? Like, I'm not. I don't have a favorite. I just like to keep. Like, I'd like to eventually just mix everything up. You know what I mean? And pick whichever one that I want to use, whatever day. Which yeah. Do you know this guy Reed that plays at Iron? He he plays he
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. So he plays on Rebirth sometimes, and then he plays at Iron. And so what I've seen with him is he just has a nice mix, and that to me looks nice. I mean, like it feels at least if it doesn't feel like you're committing to one style. Like I don't like committing to just one style. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
mostly because I just like to keep exploring and experimenting with different things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, there's no reason you need to commit to just one style. You can mix and match, or you can do one game, do another game. But what's important is that you understand the values and the importance of each of these different styles. They all have their advantages and they have their disadvantages. Nothing is just completely advantageous. Nothing is completely disadvantageous. Well, actually, there are things that are completely disadvantageous,
Mhm.
but there's nothing that just is completely advantageous.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, everyone would do that.
Right,
Um,
right.
so you need to create your own style that is both advantageous. I mean, sorry, that is taking the advantageous aspects of different styles, which
Right,
is, what I do.
right.
I take the advantageous aspect of Iron's thinking, the advantageous aspect of aggressive full sending, put it together. The only times I die are when perhaps I get third partied or I lose because of 300 ping, like I'm playing on an NA server and I
Mm.
have 300 ping. I lose in a 1v1 because I shoot them first and they still kill me.
Mhm.
Shit like that. Like, there's just random shit that I die to. I don't die when I make decisions because my decisions are always 80% or higher.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I think what's important too, based on everything that you said, is like uh, once you commit to a decision, just and you die, just you know what decision got you there, and then you keep like just building up knowledge, right, of what works.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I didn't even say that, but it's good that you caught on to that. It's a trial and error process. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you are pretty perceptive. Yeah, you want to make these decisions, you want to commit to them, you want to reflect on them. So the amount of time that you spend playing Warzone, you need to spend looking back at your games as well. So if you spend 20 minutes in a game, you need to spend 20 minutes after that game, ideally, reflecting on that 20 minutes that you spent in the game, thinking about everything that you did, thinking about all the decisions you made, breaking it all down, looking at where you went right, looking at where you went wrong. That is the best way to improve. And if you can record your games as well, then watch your recording after the game.
Yeah, I so